Welcome to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, your home for dirt track racing across the country and right here in Southwest Ohio. This is Josh, joined by EJ. It's episode 88. We're back from the King's Royal, where Macri reigns supreme. The PDC and Indiana Sprint Week are here. I hope you guys are ready to get dirty.
This week in dirt racing history, we go back to July 20th of 2013 at Williams Grove Speedway for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. We've seen Donnie Schatz pick up the win, Greg Hodnett in second, and Lance DeWeese round out the podium.
Let me talk to you.
So Tanner English is officially your 2026 Summer National Champion. He had 4 wins, 19 top 5s, and 21 top 10s in 22 starts. The only time he finished outside of the top 10 was a starting park due to the series issuing show-up points only. Pretty interesting there. He had an average finish of 3.6 and was on the podium a total of 17 times.
And that the Hell Week, it's wild, man. Just a boatload of races. For some reason, I think the show-up points was related to weather, perhaps. I can't remember. I remember seeing something about it. I think it was weather-related, but irregardless, a very strong Hell Week Summer Nationals there for Tanner English, which is why he was your 2026 Summer Nationals champion. Moving on, the King's Royal recap. EJ, I know we got a lot to talk about here, and we're just going to start right out of the gate. The track, in my opinion, is one of many topics that came out of this week, and I thought the track looked good, and not only on Wednesday during the Double Down Duels, but during the Joker's Jackpot, and was excited to see what the next 2 nights would bring, but rain really kind of threw a wrench in things. The night before was basically follow the leader, as they couldn't get up more than 3/4 of the way in the turns. It was a little better for the King's Royal. They did a complete rework before the feature to try to help that. Was able to get out on the track most of those nights. I think 3 of the 4 nights went out on the track, and it was fun doing the videos afterwards. We were able to talk about kind of our takeaways, and we got that out Wednesday and Thursday night. Ran into Jared Cly on Thursday night, talked to him, modified racer. If you get a chance to get to Limelight on Friday, he's probably there running modifieds. But got to talk to him. He really liked the track there on Thursday night. Also got to display some of the items that we would find in the track as well. Service didn't really help out with trying to get that done on Saturday night. Friday night, we headed back to camp right after the race to continue the festivities. But I was looking forward to a better Friday and Saturday night with the way Wednesday and Thursday were. I thought Thursday got better than Wednesday. And I was like, man, if we can just keep this up, the track's going to be golden come Saturday. But rain both of those days just threw a wrench in that. What were your takeaways as far as the track was concerned?
Yeah, I mean, the track, like you had mentioned, the rain come and it threw us a curveball. It really changed stuff up for the last 2 nights. We didn't see a bunch of big wrecks compared to last year. I think the biggest we've seen, and unfortunately, it seems like Bill Baylog always goes for a tough one there. I don't know what it is with that, but that's about the toughest one we've seen this year. We didn't see a bunch of injuries. The track was, really smooth considering, the circumstances and all the rain we got in such a short amount of time. And yeah, I just really, really thrilled to see what Levi Jones and Eldora has done to fix what has happened last year, because that one was a rough one to watch, and this one was actually enjoyable. But yeah, maybe next year we won't have to deal with as much rain and stuff, and hopefully we can, watch even better racing.
Yeah, the Joker's Jackpot Cole Macedo gets monster trucked by a push truck going out for the B main. He was supposed to start 8th in that. He could not make the B main as a result, as the frame on the car cracked. They actually high limit, and I think, I don't know if Eldora had a hand in it or if they've done anything in return for Cole Macedo, but I know high limit announced that they would pay the team A main start money, which I believe was $4,000. So good to see him helping out a little bit, but I would imagine with the damage on the rear end of that vehicle, including the frame needing repaired or junked, a little bit more than $4,000. So unfortunate to see that for Cole Macedo. Also, I've seen viewership on FS1 compared to last year appears to be up. I've seen anywhere from 30 to 60,000 more views on the FS1 viewership for the Joker's Jackpot, really close to 300,000 viewers if those numbers are right. So trending in the right direction. I like being there personally, but hey, if you can't get there, you've got options so you can catch the race. What were your takeaways from the Joker's Jackpot?
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Cole Macedo. Usually a lot of what he usually does himself, and pulling out of the pits and you just get monster trucked by a push truck. I mean, what can you do? And yeah, I mean the $4,000 that was cool for. I heard that was high limit. I don't know anything about Eldora having anything to do with that, but that was cool. But like you had mentioned, Josh, I believe that it broke the frame in half. So yeah, that's a totally junk car, and I'm positive $4,000 is kind of not paying for all that. So
Right.
but that was definitely cool to see them do. As far as the race, and man, this was a really good race, Josh. You had Kyle Larson up front, ended up taking the win, up there battling with Corey Day. I mean, go figure, right? Those guys, when they get around each other, it don't matter what track they're at, and they're up front, they're always the ones to watch. And they're not doing it a whole lot anymore because, they're doing, bigger things and doing NASCAR and stuff like that. So, the Joker's Jackpot was definitely one to watch. We've been saying for a while, more eyes on the sport, and it being on national television, I feel like is definitely a good thing in a lot of ways. And it's good to hear that there's more eyes on it because we got an awesome product here.
Yeah, a lot of festivities there at Eldora for the King's Royal. They had the bands afterwards on Thursday and Friday night. They had the viewing parties at the ballroom on Monday and Tuesday. If you were there earlier in the week, that was awesome to see. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but Bryce Lucius gets the win at the Brad Doty Classic there at Attica. You could see the people going nuts. I mean, it was awesome. You could feel it, like if he was going to get this win, the crowd was going to go wild. And it was awesome to see Bryce Lucius get the win there at Attica for the Brad Doty Classic. You talked about Kyle Larson getting the win at the Joker's Jackpot and at the King's Royal. Moving into that, we had it was racier than the day before was. And during the race, we had enough caution laps where they had to throw an open red. I feel like this has been a topic time and time again. Matt Tift made a post, and he said that sprint cars need starters and bigger fuel tanks. I don't know if you're going to find anybody that's going to jump on board and say they need starters. I will say it made me think, though, bigger tanks for events with 40 or more laps. I don't know. I think I might be okay with that, but it's going to make an unnecessary expense for teams that simply can't afford it. That being said, how many sprint car races are there that are 40 laps or more? The King's Royal, which typically draws 60 cars, and really, for the most part, I don't know, you've probably got maybe half a dozen to a dozen cars that aren't in the place where they can afford to have an extra tank sitting around for a few races. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Part of me thinks it would be nice to have them throw on the bigger tank for 40 laps, and maybe you make it 45 or 50 if you throw on the bigger tank. But then do you run into the same problem? I don't know. I would never want to see a starter on a sprint car, but hey, I didn't want to see a digital flag man either, and we're still running with that, right? So
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about this. A lot of people talked about that. So what are your thoughts on bigger fuel tanks and starters for the Kings Royal, as the lap count typically will lead to an open red?
Yeah, I'm a fan of more laps. And as far as the fuel tanks, we just run into a problem not too long ago where it was a big safety thing to keep those things bolted on the car. I don't know what's going on with that nowadays, but I'm assuming if you're going to put a bigger fuel tank on it, it's going to create more of a safety concern, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and yeah,
that's a good point.
That's been a big topic recently. So
yeah, well, there's been, they went to 6 bolts this year, I believe. They're required to have 6 points
yep.
of contact for the fuel tanks, and they're still having issues. So I'm not going to pretend that I have the solution. We just try to talk about it.
Yeah.
But no, that's an interesting point. If you go with a bigger fuel tank, obviously you've got more of a load, more weight there, and now 6 probably won't be enough in that circumstance. So yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, and like I said, Josh, I mean, I'm definitely a big fan of the big races like they do the Knoxville Nationals. I believe that's 50 laps as well with a break at 25 laps. So I don't see why Kings Royal wouldn't be any less than that myself. But yeah, just the whole safety thing, and I know they're looking to keep the drivers and everybody and the fans safe. So yeah, definitely. I agree with more laps, but I mean, what can you do as far as safety in that?
Yeah, and if it wasn't the open red, which I wasn't thrilled to see it, because really the race started off like, oh, this thing might go green the whole way, and then eventually run into the open red, which I know I would have to go back. Curiously, I would want to go back and look and see how often there's an open red in the Kings Royal, because I feel like I've seen it multiple times in the last 10 years at least. So I don't know what the answer is there, but certainly something to consider. And I think Levi and the folks at Eldora are going to be thinking about what can we do to make Kings Royal in 2027 bigger and better than it was before. Maybe that's a conversation that happens in the off season with Eldora and the series, whether it be the Outlaws or Highland or both, to figure out what the solution is for the Kings Royal.
What was the open red? Was that when they gave Carson Macedo like it was like 20 minutes in the work area, or are we talking about the same night?
I think if I remember, they came back from a caution, and then the open red occurred. I feel like he lucked out from that, because I think they went to go green, and then there was another caution, if I remember right.
Yeah.
There were complaints about the format. We talked about the format on the roundtable.
Yep.
When it comes to that, I don't know. I heard Logan Schuchart talking after the race, and I couldn't pick up everything he was saying because he spoke for quite a while, but I definitely got the impression that he was not at all happy with the format. The format is what the format is. Like,
Yeah.
It's been that format for a long time. So I don't know what to say to that. The rain, obviously, when the rain came, it kind of screwed things up. I don't know what I like to see more of a, honestly, like, just thinking off the top of my head, the Joker's Jackpot is a 2-day event where the first day points help lead into the second day. Why not work together? Why not make it the 4 days at the Kings Royal? Make it points based. First 3 days, you accumulate points, and it helps you set up for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's just different with the Kings Royal in that week, because now where it used to be a 2-day event, just World of Outlaws, now it's split between both the National Series. And yeah, I would love to see both of those series work together more. I feel like we're stepping in the right direction as far as that's concerned. But yeah, man, I'm really fond of the Kings Royal, Josh, OH, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see it being any less than the Knoxville Nationals. I know the Knoxville Nationals, that's all World of Outlaws. So,
Right.
High Limit takes that entire week off just for that event. And, yeah, so, hopefully here soon. I mean, I don't see it changing, but it's been a big week in sprint car racing for our state for a couple years now. So hopefully we can see it continue to grow and see even more drivers at every event.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest race next to Knoxville Nationals, biggest sprint car race in the world, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would feel the same. $6,000 to start. We talked about that. Like, give me $10,000 to start next year. I still don't know how many cars you're going to draw on that. I think maybe you would get 80. I think 80 cars at $10,000 to start. But the Kings Royal format is what it is. I'm thinking out loud as far as how can we do things to improve it. It's a 4-day show now. Like you said, there's 2 series involved. Maybe we just leave it alone. It is what it is. Like, going into the event, you know what the format is. It's not a surprise. So would it be different if it was a 4-day points event where the first 3 days the points accumulate to lead to the final night? But then there's just so much that would have to go into that. How does that change up the night? Night 1 of High Limit, when you have the double down duels, that's all points based. And so that's almost like a regular night. Where night 2, number 1, it's on FS1, so they're trying to crunch in the time, right? Number 2, the points from the night before help seeding for that day, so that shortens up the show. So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. If you had 3 straight days of points to lead up to Saturday, 80 cars, how many races are you going to get in? Like, I don't know. I just want to get more bang for my buck. And I know some people feel the opposite, where they're like, hey, let's get in and let's get out. But if you're paying top dollar, I'm okay with sitting at the racetrack all night. And I know some people feel differently about that, but we're just thinking out loud here. Irregardless, it was another awesome week at Eldora for the Kings Royal. King Anthony Macri goes back-to-back. Him and Donnie Schatz are the only 2 to accomplish this feat. Anthony Macri wins the Kings Royal. Before that caution at the end and then the double file restart, green, white, checkered, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. And it just didn't come to fruition. It wasn't what it was going to be. Look, Macri was fast. I saw Rico reeling him in there towards the end of the race before that caution, and I was hoping for Rico, not only because I think that place, whether Rico or Sheldon would get the win, would be just off the chain, but in our pool amongst us on our random draw, I actually drew Rico. So I was really hoping for him to get the win, not just because I wanted to see it happen, but also because I wanted to win the money out of the pot as well. So irregardless, great week at the Kings Royal. King Anthony defends the throne. He is your 2026 Kings Royal champion. And I know you and the boys had a heck of a week there. You got to meet your guy once again, hang out with Sheldon. But he wasn't the only one you got to run into. You ran into some guy named the King. You and the boys there with the King, Steve Kinzer. That's awesome. And a heck of a driver and somebody who I thought would have a good week, Tanner Holmes. So you guys got around and got to meet some folks, talk about your week there at Eldora for the Kings Royal.
I'm telling you, man, Tanner Holmes, he's really popular with the kids and stuff. My kids love to talk to him. They love catching up with him every time they see him. Steve Kinzer, as far as that's concerned, man, I haven't seen Steve Kinzer since he was at Eldora in 2015. He was working on Craig or something's car, and I ended up I grabbed an autograph from him. I got him to sign my shirt that year, and I forgot to mention on the round table that 2015. I was in the pits watching after all that rain and stuff, and I went to jump over a mud puddle in my white Steve Kinzer shirt, and I kind of hit the mud puddle and hit the mud. So I forgot to bring that up. I ended up, having a dirty night there, but yeah, that was the last.
He wrecked in that heat race that night. So I can't remember. Was he done then? Because he wrecked he tore that car up. I just can't remember if he came. I don't think he did. I think after that heat race wreck, it was like heat race number 1. And the heats had just kicked off.
Yeah.
Steve Kinzer wrecks. He gets upside down pretty hard, and then it rained. And I don't believe he got back in after that. I think they were done for the night. Do you remember that?
All I know that he wasn't happy when I asked for his autograph. I don't think he was upset at me. I just feel like it was a rough night, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And
the
yeah,
two boys had another great Kings Royal week.
That's right. And they're meeting a lot of Hall of Famers, and I don't see I don't see anybody touching what Steve Kinzer has done in sprint car racing. So that was really cool, and it's always good to meet up with Sheldon, man. Every time he comes to state, we're looking to get out of state more and travel out there and meet more people, and hopefully he'll see us outside of the Buckeye State real soon.
There you go. Always a good week for us. We pulled in on Tuesday. Some guys showed up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By Saturday, I think there was 11 or 12 of us there. You guys swung by. We were playing yard games and just hanging out, having a good time like we always do, camping in Lot 1. Some of us went and got our annual photograph on the throne. I mean, it's a great week. It's always a great week. I always look forward to it. Hate it when it's over. It's funny because when it starts out, the first couple of days seem to go by, I don't know, fairly slow, I guess, even though you get up in the morning and get after it until 2 or 3 at night, every night for us. And then all of a sudden Saturday's there. And it really feels like, I don't know for you, but for me, seems like Saturday just flies by. Then the next thing you know, you're packing up Sunday morning and looking forward to Kings Royal 2027. So another great one in the books. And we're going to wrap up this week's talking points. We want to note Ryan Timms. He hightails it from Eldora. I don't know. He's running for points there at Knoxville. And the weather was questionable. Obviously, it rained Friday and Saturday. So I'm guessing a combination of things there had that team considering running back to Knoxville, which they did. He goes back to Knoxville and in a span of 24 hours wins 3 separate races. So Ryan Timms, your defending Knoxville champion, might just win Knoxville Nationals once again here in 2026.
Next talking point, we're going to Indiana Sprint Week. It's the 39th installment. It will pay $10,000 to win for all of the 9 events across 10 different days. It's an all-time record for events in this, Josh. It's going to run between July 23rd and August 1st. $25,000 goes to the winner. The 2025 champion KTJ will look to repeat. The schedule looks like this. July 23rd, the dirt track at IMS. This is an invitational. What do you think about the invitational thing, Josh?
I don't know. I get it. I guess, to a point. It's an interesting idea, and it kicks off Indiana Sprint Week.
Yep, that's on July 23rd at the dirt track at IMS. Then we go July 24th to Lincoln Park Speedway, July 25th to Kokomo, July 26th to Lawrenceburg Speedway, July 27th to Circle City Raceway, July 29th to Paragon Speedway, July 30th to Terre Haute Action Track for the Don Smith Classic, July 31st to Bloomington Speedway for the Sheldon Kinzer Memorial, August 1st to the Class Track, Tri-State Speedway. I want to know, Josh, who is your pick to win Indiana Sprint Week?
Yep, I'm going to go with the guy that won Eastern Storm. I'm going with Kyle Cummins to win Indiana Sprint Week. I think only a handful of other guys have won both in the same season. So, I mean, that's something to put a feather in your cap. And I think Kyle Cummins, your current USAC Sprint points leader, is going to walk away with the Indiana Sprint Week championship. You got to pick EJ.
Yeah, I probably better shout out our boys Blake and Charlie over there at Dirt Tracks and Rib Racks. You probably know where I'm going with this, right? I'm going with JG, Justin Grant, to win Indiana Sprint Week.
Yeah, Charlie loves that pick. He is a huge fan of that pick. Oh, man.
Right.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. Oh,
no. This week's race recap and racing to come. Monday, July 13th, Fremont Speedway had high limit, and Brent Marks gets the win. Justin Peck in second. Aaron Reitzel from 13th to 3rd. Kerry Matson in 4th, and Gio Selzy rounds out your top 5. Tuesday, July 14th, Attica Raceway Park in the Brad Doty Classic. Bryce Lucius with a huge win. Bryce Lucius gets the win at Attica for the Brad Doty Classic with the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Logan Schuhart in second, Bodie Kofoid in 3rd, Tanner Thorson in 4th, and David Gravel in 5th. Wednesday, July 15th, Eldora Speedway and the Double Down Duels. Feature number 1, Brent Marks gets the win. Tyler Courtney in 2nd, Kyle Larson in 3rd, Rico Abreu in 4th, and Sheldon Hodenshield in 5th. Feature number 2, Corey Day gets the win. Gio Selzy in 2nd, Justin Peck in 3rd, and Parker Price Miller in 4th, with Carson Macedo rounding out the top 5. Thursday, July 16th, Eldora Speedway and the Joker's Jackpot. Joker's Jackpot, $100,000 to win. Kyle Larson takes home the big check from High Limit. Rico Abreu in 2nd, Logan Schuhart in 3rd, Carson Macedo in 4th, and Brent Marks finishing in 5th. Friday, July 17th, Eldora Speedway, and the night before with the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Corey Day gets the win. Aaron Reitzel in 2nd, Garrett Williamson in 3rd, Brady Bacon in 4th, and Rico Abreu in 5th. Saturday, July 18th, Eldora Speedway, the World of Outlaws, in the 43rd running of the Kings Royal. Anthony Macri defends the throne. Anthony Macri, King Anthony, the 43rd, gets the win. Rico Abreu in 2nd, Gio Selzy in 3rd, Corey Day in 4th, and Garrett Williamson in 5th. EJ, those 6 nights of racing, what is your takeaway? I think I had a couple takeaways. Number 1, wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as I was expecting for David Gravel. And on top of that, really impressed, and I've been impressed with Garrett Williamson, and I think Gio Selzy had a pretty solid week as well. I'm not surprised by, Brent Marks, Corey Day, but surprised by Gravel. Not a terrible week again, but I just figured he would fare better. And then Garrett Williamson, man, he's so close to getting that first Outlaw win, and that first Outlaw win almost looked like at one point it was going to be either the night before or the Kings Royal. They had some really good runs there, and Gio Selzy, really a nice week for him. So what was your takeaways from that week in Ohio?
It was quite a bit of good racing. The thing that caught my attention the most was obviously you showed the little clip there earlier of in the Eldora ballroom when you had everybody around you really fired up about Bryce Lucius with his win. That energy was the same at the track. I'm not sure that I've been to a race myself where the entire crowd was just immediately on their feet, and that's really good for Bryce Lucius. That stands out the most. As far as David Gravel, the majority of the people I talked to said they was taking anybody but Gravel. So I'm sure everybody that was there for the most part was happy to see that it looks like he had one top 5 run here the whole week. So that's definitely not like him. I don't think he was really in the back or anything, but you would expect him at a marquee event like this to, be up here contending with the Buddy Kofoids and the Aaron Reitzel's and Ricos and the Kyle Larsons and, the people that was up there. So, yeah, and always, man, I love Eldora. I can't say enough about going to Eldora. It's my favorite place to go watch racing. The Kings Royal is my favorite event. So, just good racing all week, Josh. Just out here making memories with the boys. And, man, in the end, that's what life's all about.
Yeah, no doubt. Getting to the end of this episode 88. EJ, what kind of racing to come is on the calendar?
So our racing to come Tuesday, July 21st at Lincoln. It's Flow Racing Night in America. Lernerville will have High Limit. Weekend with the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Wednesday, July 22nd at Fairbury will be Flow Racing Night in America. Weekend will also have the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Thursday, July 23rd, Ransomville will have High Limit. The dirt track at IMS will be Indiana Sprint Week, night number 1 with the USAC Sprints. Friday, July 24th at Attica, the AFCS 410s and 305s with super late models. Fairbury with the PDC, night number 1 with the World of Outlaw late models. I-96 will have the GLSS. Livonia will have the USCS. Lima Land with the Great Lakes traditional sprints, the mods and the stocks. Lincoln Park will have Indiana Sprint Week, night number 2 with the USAC Sprints. Mississippi Thunder Speedway will have the IRA Sprints. Moeller will have Ohio Valley SCDRA 1,000 to win for the stock cars there. Ohio Valley Speedway, $5 general admission for that event. What a deal there.
Yeah.
Raceway 7 will be first responders will get in free. That's here in Ohio as well. State Line will have High Limit. And Williams Grove Speedway will have the PA Posse 410s.
Moving to Saturday, July 25th, 191 is going to have Ohio Valley late models. Atomic's going to have the Brock Cheney Memorial, the Gladiator Sprints mods and sport mods. They actually announced something earlier today where Portsmouth, I believe, is making up a feature, and they're going to push their time back a little bit there at Atomic. So the guys running modifieds at Portsmouth to make up that feature and get it in. Either Atomic push their time back or Portsmouth push their time up. I believe Portsmouth may have pushed their time up. So either way, both tracks working together so those modified drivers can run there at Portsmouth and then trek to Atomic for the Brock Cheney Memorial. So it's good to see that. Gladiator Sprints mods and sport mods will be on hand there at Atomic on Saturday, July 25th. Cedar Lake's going to have IRA. Crystal's going to have GLSS. Dixie Speedway with USCS. Dodge City with ASCS. Fairbury and the Prairie Dirt Classic with the World of Outlaw late models. Can the Squirrel, Brian Shirley, repeat? And EJ, I'm going to ask you, who is your pick to drive to the bank? One of the coolest things out of any of these crown jewel events in any discipline of motorsports. You get to drive your race car to the bank. Who's your pick, DJ?
Well, I mean, Josh, I'm not going to take the same as you, but it's really hard to go against a smooth operator right now. I'm going to take Bishop.
I'm going to have to go with the smooth operator, Bobby Pierce. I think he's going to get his second PDC. I believe it was a couple years ago that he won, and I think he's going to drive that 32 to the bank come Saturday night. Move to Florence, the Sling and Dirt late models, Race Saver Sprints, and $1,000 to win for the Crown Vics. $1 drinks, $1 food items, $1 beer. Get to Florence. They've got late models, sprint cars, and Crown Vics, and $1 items at the concessions. You can't beat that. Fremont AFCS 410 and AFCS 305s, as well as the dirt trucks. Goods Raceway is going to have Christmas in July. Kokomo and Indiana Sprint Week, night number 3 with USAC Sprints. Port City and Power Eye Midgets. Port Royal with the Greg Hodnick Classic and High Limit. Portsmouth is running. Sharon has 410s, UMP mods, Rush sprint cars, and Crown Vics. Weed Sport with the World of Outlaws sprint cars. And Sunday, July 26th, Good Raceway is going to have Enduro. Hilltop's going to have flat track quads and Enduros. Lawrenceburg and Indiana Sprint Week, night number 4 with the USAC Sprints. Moeller's going to have open practice. Port Royal and the Bob Weikert Memorial, $100,000 to win with High Limit. Aaron Reitzel looking to repeat. My pick, I think King Anthony gets another 6-figure payday with just over a week from his Kings Royal win. I think Anthony Macri is going to win the Weikert and pocket $100,000. EJ, do you have a pick for that race?
Yeah, I would like to pick, I'm counting so much cash, I can't hear you. That's who I'd like to see win again. Honestly, Josh, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stay PA Posse with you, and I'm going to take Chase Dietz in this.
Oh, all right.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, him and King Anthony, they've been out there battling it out, the last month or so since. I can't believe the comeback from injury, man. I really can't. But, yeah, man, I look for Chase Dietz to be up there contending for the win, and I wouldn't doubt that he gets one of the biggest paydays of his career here.
Yeah, nice pick there. Wrapping up racing to come Sunday, July 26th, Weed Sport, night number 2 with the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Any plans for you this week, EJ?
Hopefully looking to get to a new track. The Saturday's usually my go-to day, so Portsmouth is definitely up there as well with their reopening here. I've never been there either, and I don't want to blow my chance and get to an awesome venue like Portsmouth and see all the changes they made to make the track better.
Yeah, I don't know if you could get to Portsmouth Saturday and then get their, I believe they're making up features from last week, and they're going to have then their normal Saturday race.
A full show.
You could go catch the features there at Portsmouth and then head up to Atomic and get 2 tracks in the same day.
Yeah. Yeah, and Atomic's running the sprint cars too, the 410, so.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to get to Lawrenceburg on Sunday for Indiana Sprint Week. And then I think, depending on how things go for Monday, Circle City for the first time for another night of Indiana Sprint Week. So might get to the track back-to-back days, 2 different tracks, one of them a new one. So I'm looking forward to that. Want to shout out everybody that we ran into during Kings Royal Week.
Yes.
Just really appreciate all the support and all the new followers over the last week. We're over 1,000 on Facebook. We're over 1,000 on X, and we're almost at 200 on YouTube. If you haven't been over to our YouTube, everything's Dirt Court Jester. Get over to our YouTube. You can check out not only the podcast, but other content we put out, including older episodes. EJ, anything before we wrap it up?
my schedule is subject to change, and hopefully we'll get out to do some good racing. But yeah, Josh, I always appreciate the opportunity to come on. It was good to come out with the boys and hang out with you at Kings Royal, and look forward to get back out there next year and hang out even more with you. And yeah, man, like always, like I said, thanks for letting me be on the podcast, man. Let's go Sheldon Hodenshield.
There you go. Everybody like, follow, share, subscribe. Thanks for the support, and we hope to see you at the track.